start us off by just telling how you thought the tournament went for you all, and what's like coming away with a 3-1 weekend.
That's a good thing is a 3-1 weekend, and if you looked at the scores, it was pretty close all weekend. We in southeastern Louisiana, we lost 2-3 to them. Had some chances to maybe flip that 3-2 in our favor. Nichols 4-1. There was a couple games that were close that could have easily went the other way, and then Central Arkansas day 2 beating them 3-2, and we had some pairs that didn't play as good as they've been playing and got beat, and so it was a 3-2 match. And then UTEP was a barn burner there at the end, and it easily could have went the other way, and it could have been 4-1 the other way. We made a great dig at the threes pair where the girl from UTEP made a fantastic dig over the net, and Kasten Hoffman made another fantastic dig when the ball barely cleared the net and went over to the sideline, made another scoop of it, and it landed over in the court, and we ended up winning that one 18-16 in the third. And then our ones showed up and did a pretty good job and beat their ones in three to seal the victory.
So this is kind of like a recurring theme where it feels like a lot of these matches are very close when kind of coming down to the wire. A lot of 3-2 victories. A lot different from last year, and obviously you could argue maybe it's a little bit of a step up in the competition, playing mostly, if not only Division One schools up to this point. But what does it say about your team that you have that, we're 15 games in, we played only Division One schools. Yes, they've been all close, but we're 12-3, on the season.
Yeah, it just goes to show that they're competitors, and they show up and play. And if things aren't going their way, we try to make some adjustments, and they listen and they start doing the things we're telling them, and they're starting to score again, get a little confidence, and then they come back and end up winning, or maybe they win the first set and then they lose the second set and they have to win in the third. There's a lot of even matches this year, and it just shows that their competitiveness and their work ethic and practice is transferring over into the games, and they're competing at a high level and not letting things get to them. And each point, they're playing each point like it's the end of the game.
Now, you mentioned kind of not letting things get to them. Obviously, in a tournament, there's a lot of things that can happen. Obviously, adjustments need to be made. We're playing these teams a second, third time. I believe this is the second time or third time, you correct me if I'm wrong, that we played UTEP especially. As a coach, how do you make those adjustments to where, hey, the ones pair that, we're playing at UTEP is now playing in a different spot, and, their twos pair is now playing at the one. How do you make those adjustments to your team and let them know, like, hey, they're making these changes. Maybe, here's some adjustments we need to make to how we play.
Yeah, you just look at the pair that when they move down, or you watch it film from before and kind of get some ideas of what they like to do, and maybe we match up better at a lower pair with them. And I think that's what we did this week. We matched up better at some of those, and even though it was still 3-2, there was some good competition, and they listened to our adjustments that we were making. So, like, again, at our fours pair, when we were playing their number ones from the first week, it was one of those where, hey, this is what we got to do to win this game. And they did what they needed to do. Was it close? Or, well, that game was a little bit, we won in 2. So it was, they made those adjustments. They listened to what we were telling them. They stayed up. They didn't let things get to them, and they kept scoring. And when they kept scoring, then it just kept building and building. And then, when their twos moved up to their ones, and they have a pretty good, I like their ones pair. The one girl at their ones pair is really, really talented. And, our goal was to keep the ball away from her as much as possible. And for the most part, we did a pretty good job of that. She optioned a lot like we like to tell our girls to do. And so she still got a pretty good number of kills. But other than that, we did what we needed to do to minimize her attempts and give us a better chance of winning.
Now, looking ahead, you guys will be in Arkansas. This is going a little bit different from the Bayou State. You'll now be just north of that in Conway. You'll have a pair of matches with UT Martin and Southwest Baptist University. I know you and I had talked about last week that there was a big match between UT Martin and Palm Beach Atlantic that I know you had your eyes on, to kind of maybe see, okay, if Palm Beach Atlantic is doing this to UT Martin, we can get a good idea of where we're at. But playing two opponents on back-to-back days in there, the same opponents. How are you approaching this weekend, especially that match against UT Martin that we had talked about?
Yeah, looking at that game and seeing that they played Palm Beach Atlantic and knowing that we're, that we kind of compare ourselves to the rest of the D2s, more at the top, like the Tampa, Concordia, Palm Beach. There's a couple other, St. Leo, Florida Southern, Carson Newman, Spring Hill. You kind of want to see where you Colorado Mesa. You kind of want to see where you want to match up against those teams, and this is a good matchup for us with going against UT Martin, who beat us last year 3-2. Obviously they had some kids graduate like we did, so there's some adjustments that they have to make too. And this last week was their first weekend playing, so there was probably a learning curve. So there's probably going to be some changes there too. So, you look at what Palm Beach Atlantic did, beating them 4-1, and you're hoping you can come out and do the same thing, or at least keep it close and maybe win 3-2 and hope you kind of keep it to where you feel like you're still in the comparable to the Palm Beach Atlantics and stuff like that. So it's just going to be a lot of, after that first match, depending on what happens, win or lose, then we have to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, this is what they did in this game. We need to exploit this. Maybe we didn't do this as much as we could have, and we needed to change a couple things. Maybe we need to option more. Maybe we need to run some faster stuff to get them out of system, serve more aggressive. We've been working a lot on serving all year, and we've been doing a pretty good job of serving and keeping teams out of system and giving us a lot more easier balls back that we can transition and turn it into a kill.
Now, to kind of wrap it up here, obviously in Arkansas, won't have the same cage you had in Louisiana, but I'm sure there's still some good spots over there. But, in Louisiana, I'm sure you had a lot of crawfish. I know you and I talked about before you for this press conference about all the kind of crawfish that you had and all the things that you had. But is there any kind of pit stop you're looking forward to having in Conway?
No, right now I can't even remember. We went there last year, and I don't even remember where we even ate at, because it's been such a trying to figure out where we eat at and all that kind of stuff. Haven't really looked into where we ate at last year, but I do remember we did eat somewhere that was really good last year. But we'll have to see if we can find that place again too. But yeah, going back to Louisiana, that crawfish, good. Tulane had a crawfish boil going on during the match the second day, so I got my fill of crawfish that day. It was really good.
Awesome. Appreciate your time, Jared.
Thank you.